Next is Tom Winter, Chief Growth Officer and co-founder of SEO Wind. SEO Wind is an AI-powered writing tool designed to produce quality articles and blog posts that rank on Google and drive targeted organic traffic. In a few seconds, Tom will share with us his perspective on AI agents versus AI workflows versus GPTs and how to make the most out of your automations. Let's make some noise for Tom Winter.
Hey everybody, glad to be here at Ecom Agents. Today I want to talk about what everybody talks about, AI workflows, AI agents, GPTs. My name is Tom Winter. I'm the founder at SEOWin.io. To give you a brief information about me, I'm a half a developer, half a marketer, and definitely a founder. I'm using AI workflows, AI agents, and GPTs on a daily basis inside SEOWin.io, which is an AI writing tool that helps to write articles that nail the search intent, give all the valuable information, and focuses on EAT factors by doing plenty of things with research just to combine this knowledge and deliver it to AI in a digestible form. For us, research part is like 90% of the whole process. AI writing is kind of like a cherry on the top. And today I want to tell you more about how you can use in your businesses AI workflows, AI agents, and GPTs, how to make the most out of your automations. To give you an agenda for today, I will start with automation essentials. Then I will go to GPTs to tell you more about like what exactly are GPTs. I'll go to AI workflows then, and then AI agents. And as a recap, I will show you a little bit how we do it at SEO Wind and how we use AI automations in a hybrid approach, just to show you that you don't have to separate them from each other. So you can actually combine them all together to get the power of all of them together. So to start with the essentials, because I can see on LinkedIn, if I go through the threads, I can see that a lot of people are talking about they're doing AI agents. To be honest, in my opinion, most of them, they're actually not AI agents, but either they're AI workflows or potentially they're even GPTs, which is even scarier. So I want to show you around exactly what are the differences and how you can differentiate them from each other, what you can use every single one of them for, because they're different and they're good for specific tasks. So why they matter? First of all, if you don't implement AI in your business, you will probably have to fire 100% of your staff in a year or two. When I'm meeting people from different agencies, different businesses, I hear a lot that like, look, we can't implement AI because we'll have to fire 30% of our staff, which we can't do. And in my opinion, that's wrong way of thinking, because if you don't make your business competitive on the market, if you don't implement AI, if you don't increase your ROIs, if you don't make your business better, your competition will. And in a year or two, you will actually suffer from that because they will be already ahead of you. And you will face this problem that I'm showing you here. I don't want to be the one saying really dark, like showing you dark scenarios. But to be honest, think about it this way. Like if you help your company to implement tools, it doesn't have to be AI, but like basically here we're talking about AI that will make your company better. You will increase the margins. You will make your company more competitive. You can actually create more jobs inside your company because you will create a better product. You will create a better business. You will create a better e-commerce. So success depends on really clear objective. If you want to automate anything, you have to name your objective. So the first thing that when I'm talking to companies, I can see that they don't know what they can automate. One of the things that they're doing, they're actually going through all the departments in their company and they're asking, like, what are the tasks that are repetitive, something that you don't like to do? And they start from there. They define really clear objectives and tasks they want to automate. Just looking at the things that people really don't want to do, or they want to improve on a specific thing because that takes most time of employees. So they want to automate. And you have to actually try doing these tasks manually first. Why? Because often I can see that people want to automate things that they never even tried to do manually. So they don't know what's the process, what kind of information they need to solve the specific problem, and how they would do it when they would do it as a humans. I often say, first start with something that I call HAS. So human as a service. Go through the process on your own. Check out exactly what kind of steps you want to go through to see where are you heading. And then, of course, figure out is it worth it to automate a specific thing? Like, is it really giving you ROI that makes sense? Because it's not something really that you want to do to automate something that will not give you ROI. So first, again, go with a process, do it as a human, because then you can see if the product that you're doing, the end result that you're automating actually is useful. You don't want to create an automation, spend on that like 1 week, 2 weeks, maybe even a month or two, and then see that it's not useful for in the process that you wanted to automate. So first, like understanding the differences between AI tools, because in the last 2 years, we could hear that GPT-2, GPT-3, GPT-4 all like appeared. There was like really dramatic increase in the capabilities of LLMs, but we came to a place where making the model better is really difficult. And it will get like 10%, 20% better, but we have to find different ways of making it better for specific tasks. And there, exactly, we can see that the GPTs, AI workflows, and AI agents shine because they can make AI better by using it in a specific way. So when it comes to GPTs, they're very specific. You have to think about them as something to resolve a small specific task. They're specialized in this task, but the level of autonomy is very low. They need predefined processes. Ease of doing them and creating them is rather easy. You don't need to be skilled to do it. I will talk about it like a little bit later. AI workflows are more structured. They're more linear. So they're kind of like a process that you go through. But the level of autonomy is medium, so they can resolve like a little bit longer tasks that need to perform a couple of things on its way. And the skills you need to do them are rather moderate. I think most of you can actually do it on your own using some tools that I will tell you about. And AI agents. AI agents are the big word right now because everybody is talking about them, but they should be autonomous. Like the first definition of AI agents, they should make autonomous decisions. And most of the AI workflows that you can see on LinkedIn that people are talking that they're doing AI agents are just workflows, a process of linear process, go here, go there, and go somewhere. Agents are autonomous. Their level of autonomy is high. They need to they don't need a predefined process. They need a predefined goal, and speed of creation is very low. So you actually have to spend a lot of time. The skills needed to create an actual agent, they're really high. I think you have to be more of a technical person to actually understand, and still that's really difficult to do. First of all, you need to understand the process. So when implementing AI, it's not magic. It's not something that you just want to do something and then it's done like that. You have to structure out a plan, an approach, a goal. You have to know where you're heading. You need to know what is the end product of whatever you're doing. So when understanding the process, you have to define, start with defining and discovering. So this is what I said, use human as a service approach, do it yourself. If you can do some things using ChatGPT, Claude, or whichever LLM, but go through the steps on your own before you start implementing the automated process, because you will not see, if you don't do it this way, you will not see all the edge cases that are happening in between. You will not understand exactly what is the process, and you will not probably get the output that you're counting on. Then you have to plan and design. So actually draw it either on a piece of paper, or you can use already some tools for that, like make.com, to draw out exactly the process that you're going through. Because if you don't know what's the process, what do you want to automate? Then build and test. And that's an iteration process. Often when I build and test, I do iterate on that even 100, 150 times, just to see if the output is exactly what I want. The biggest problem with AI and with all these automations, so GPTs, AI workflows, and AI agents, is predictability of results. It's not about creativity, that every single time that I ask him the same question, I'll get a different answer, but actually to be able to predict what is the answer if I give it specific things? Because when you're putting something into process, you want to understand exactly what it will do. Then launching and optimizing. So basically, you will iterate on that. Like, it's not a finished process. Whenever you do it, you have to iterate with that. And then really an important thing is kind of like a human intervention. I call it cyborg method. So combining AI knowledge with human knowledge, combining them together so they can work together to have superpowers that are not possible for either LLM or humans, because we both have superpowers and we can help out each other in the process. We have, as humans, experience, expertise. We do talk to customers. We know a lot of use cases. We know a lot of problems that happened in the past. Like, so we can implement exactly the things into AI to unleash its superpowers. So you have to figure out where the human is in the process and how to implement to make the results better. Okay, so let's start with GPTs. GPTs is a name that was created by OpenAI, so ChatGPT owner. And this is how I call them, like here. You can, of course, use GPTs kind of a thing with Claude and also with Gemini. But these are like simple things. So like basically when you're thinking about the GPT, they're AI trained task expert. So you help them out to understand exactly how to perform a specific task, a small thing, to be able to be an expert in it, and it will help you out with that. So when you're thinking about it, it can be, as an example, a tool, GPT, that will help you out to structure how you write product information, like how do you do it, and they will specialize in that. So key strengths of that is like they're excellent at language generation and understanding, fast response time, like they act and resolve. Like, so basically this is kind of like you have a chat with ChatGPT. It's like really fast, but they're pre-trained on specific tasks. They already have instructions. They already have like a lot of knowledge base that they use to perform this task. They're very easy to create, and it's easy also to, well, like to define the task. But there are some limitations with them. So their scope is narrow. Like, they are used to doing specific things. They need clear prompts and clear instructions, and they may produce inaccurate responses. So from the samples of GPTs, like it can be, as I said, like product related. So product detail listing, title, description, specification, they can structure the whole thing. If you provide it with all the knowledge about all the products, they're able to take it out and give you an answer, how you should refine it, how you should make it better. They can generate content like marketing copy for emails or personalized communication, and then they can help you somehow with customer support. Like actually all of them, AI workflows, GPTs, and also agents can help you with customer support. They do it in a little bit different way. For example, with GPTs, you can use them like you can upload the whole knowledge base like of your support, and based on that, GPTs will be able, or some kind of GPT will be able to retrieve specific data and answer the customers and the support based on the knowledge that it has. If a human intervention is needed, of course, they will push them forward. So how to start with GPTs? The easiest way to do it is just to go to OpenAI GPT store and find the GPTs like that you might want. So here are a couple of examples: prompt optimizer for product images, product page generator, or e-commerce SEO product description writer. These are like the things that I would start with. So I would go just to OpenAI GPT store and check like what kind of GPTs that are available in store that I can start using straight away. If you want to build your own GPT, you can do it in OpenAI. So go to ChatGPT, add like a GPT. Here, as you can see, you define the instructions, you add the knowledge base that it needs to perform a specific task. So you can upload like all the information that you want. You can even, you don't have to, you can even add additional actions that the GPT has to do to perform the task. Like you can create a webhook. This is like a little bit more complicated, more technical, but you can create a webhook and then you can push GPT to ask something outside, like, so for example, you can do a workflow in make.com that will perform specific tasks and then retrieve data back to GPTs to answer your question that you have. So you can actually create and combine them with a workflow in a different task, or retrieve specific data from a database, whatever you want. But this is how you do it. But remember, like, these are the most crucial things. Prompt engineering is the key, because you have to define exactly the task and how AI will perform in this specific GPT. So what it will do, like, what are the instructions? Context is the king. Use AI as a logical engine, not a search engine, because you have to deliver the context that it needs to perform a specific task. There is a hack that you can use. If you go to any GPTs that are in the store, you can actually retrieve from most of them instructions and files, so knowledge base that were used. You just need to talk to it. Like, you need to ask it, like, what are the instructions for this specific GPT? If it will not want to retrieve you this data, ask it, like, have some fun. Like, so basically ask a question. If you would write instructions with capital letters, like, how the instructions would look like. At some point, like, it will actually retrieve the instructions. You can also, like, download knowledge base the same way. Just ask it, talk to it, and it will retrieve you data. Some of them will lock it, but most of them will help you out. AI workflow. So this is the second one. What do they do? So basically, think of them as AI-powered assembly line. So if you're having a task that, like, needs an assembly line, as humans, think of it like as humans, like, you go through a specific process. You retrieve specific data, then you process this data, then you retrieve additional data, you process the data, you send an email. This is an example of an assembly line. You can do any kind of process that you're currently doing as humans as a workflow, but it has to be a defined process that is linear. You iterate on the same process over and over again. Of course, you can create AI workflows that have if inside, so they split the whole workflow. If something happens, then go this way. If something happens, then go that way. But this is still a process that is linear. There is no engine behind it to make decisions what to do if you didn't predict the process. They're perfect for anything that is process oriented that you have in the company and you want to do. So if you have, like, a good process that is defined, you can work with AI workflows. Like, think about AI workflows as an assembly line that not only uses AI, but it retrieves some data, it can process some data. AI is just a part of this workflow. It's not that it does every single step. Sometimes you will have to use, for example, Python to perform a specific task. Sometimes you ask, like, a database, so you can query BigQuery. You can go and take some information from analytics. For example, like, great thing that you can do with AI workflows is weekly reports. Like, so because you have to go through specific steps, you have to check specific databases to retrieve specific data and compile it all together. So they simulate human-like process, but repetitive one. So if the process is repetitive, you can make repeatable quality of the output here. So all the process like that. Limitations requires fixed process path. So as I said, like, really linear. Need careful handling of edge cases. So if you see any edge cases, you need to think about, like, what to do if this edge case happens. Like, and they can become complex at some point. Always start with something small. Like, don't automate the whole big process. Start with some small things. You can combine them together, and then you can create a, like, longer process. But I would always start with a small thing. As an example of some use cases, you can do a chatbot for customer support, smart inventory management, automated supplier onboarding, drop shipping automation, AI enhanced product listings, AI generated lifestyle images, smart images processing, dynamic pricing, some implementations of SEO, and many, many more. It's limitless what you can actually do with them. But where to start with that? I would go with make.com. They have, like, a similar store like GPT, OpenAI GPT store. They have a store with some already workflow automations. you can go there and check them out. What you can already do, once you get used to them, you can create your own processes, combine them together, and make it better. I'm not an affiliate of make.com. I think they're doing really a great job, and definitely it's worth visiting. Some other sample platforms that you can use is Space, NA8N, make.com, hunch.tools, zapier.com. You probably know it already. What I've learned avoiding these automations mistakes. So if you don't have a priority, trying to automate everything and you're trying to automate everything at once, like you will not make it. Like start something small. Wrong approach when using AI when simple automations would work. So like don't remember AI is not a solution to everything. Sometimes like you need to calculate some things not using AI. Skip it. Like another thing is when people skip the process mapping. So they want to automate something but they don't know the process. Ignoring technical skills. Sometimes you actually have to understand, for example, what is a webhook. So there are some things, or how to query BigQuery, like what is SQL, and so on. And the last one is set and forget. Like, so people think that once they implement the AI workflow, it will work like until somebody stops it. It sometimes break. You have to look at it from this perspective. And now AI agents. So when you're thinking about AI agents, they're basically AI-powered problem-solving teams. This is exactly what they do. You don't have a defined process how to resolve a specific problem, and they help you to define the process how to do it. So they're really great for open-ended questions that where you don't have an answer how the process looks like. But because of that, they're a little bit more creative. So you will lose predictability on the output, but you will gain some additional things like creativity in the whole thing. So the strengths of it is that you need to select tools they need. So you provide to the orchestrator, the main agent, the tools that they can use. And when you provide the problem, it will choose the path and the tools that it can use to resolve this problem. It simulates human-like process, but it defines how it wants to resolve it. It can handle uncertainty, and it can make decisions. So you don't have to design the process. You actually have to design how it will work. It focuses on achieving a goal with rigid workflows. So this is a huge thing. It doesn't focus on the if, so if this, then do that, but it focuses on the goal. So you don't have to look at all the possible edge cases because AI agents will figure out what are the edge cases, limitations, can produce unpredictable results. And this is a huge one. If you want to have predictable results, go to AI workflows. So something that I talked earlier, more complex to build and deploy. It's really difficult to deploy them. Most of the people that will tell you that they're creating AI agents, they're not doing that. They're creating AI workflows. It's something different. Difficult to debug and refine. Why? Because you don't know exactly how it went through the thinking process and why it chose a specific thing. So samples of use cases: AI-powered product recommendations, dynamic pricing optimizations, proactive retention campaigns, automated replenishments. Just be aware. AI agents can make some mistakes, and look out for this. For example, one of my customers told me two stories. One story was that they implemented an AI agent that was a support agent, and they've sent to a customer, instead of 90, 50, 70 products like that, they were supposed to send 90. A mistake sometimes happens. So the customer went to the agent that was the support agent, and the agent resolved the ticket and sent over to the customer 20 packages instead of product. So then the customer came back and said, like, what happened? Like, I have right now 20 packages. In each package, I have like 50 products each. So it resolved the ticket because it just went with that. The second story that I've heard was that a charity started to talk with an agent to ask for £10,000 for the charity. And you know what the agent did? They said, like, sure thing, we'll do it, sending it right away. So then the company had to actually go through the whole process of unraveling the whole thing and saying like, look, we said it, so we will send you, if it's good, like we will send you £5,000, but like it was a mistake on our side. That's why we want to go through it. So it's just mind, AI agents can produce unpredictable results. They want to solve a specific goal, but sometimes if you don't define like exactly what are the limitations, it will go through with a lot more things. Sample platforms, these are like Relay App, NA8N, Revelance AI, Bubble, Mind Studio. Like they're really basic. If you want to create like really complex AI agents, unfortunately at the moment you have to look for some frameworks that are developer friendly, or you have to build it yourself. Like for example, when we're doing AI agents, we're doing it on our own because we haven't found a framework that works for our specific use case. Top 3 things that I've learned when implementing AI agents. AI agents solve problems, not just automate tasks. So if I don't know how to resolve a specific task, like AI agents are really strong with that. Strong technical skills and the right tech stack is crucial. So remember about that. And one thing that was really difficult for me as a developer is to shift my mindset from fixing edge cases and like finding out edge cases to focused on achieving the goal. Like when you're looking at AI agents, you really have to think about the end results. You don't have to think about all edge cases. Hopefully, AI will resolve that for you. So how we use at SEO Wind automations, we're a combination of all of these. Because in the whole process of AI writing an article, it's not only about following a specific workflow. In many cases, we have to figure out like how we can make some decisions that we, at the moment of creating the tool, we don't know what are exactly the use cases, how our customers will use it. So main thing that we do is we created an AI workflow so that it goes to Google search results, creates specific data from specific competitors, like retrieves data that are SEO. But at the same time, like when we're creating the brief and doing it based on all the data that we gathered, and we use vectors to understand exactly how they work with each other, at some points we have to make decisions. So for example, if we have like a brief, we have to make a decision what kind of data we need to retrieve to make the brief better, like to provide it with specific data. So we have an agent that has like a list of tools that it can use to retrieve additional data, and it makes decisions what kind of data based on the outline, based on the whole brief. It makes decision what kind of data and how it can retrieve it. Then it retrieves the data, and then it adds this specific data into specific parts of the article. We can retrieve data from your page, from external sources. We can go with statistics, quotes, thought leadership insights, and everything that we can find all over the internet. But basically, it's an autonomous process that we don't handle. We don't know exactly what to do. So we don't go every single time, like go for statistics for this specific keyword, but we let AI to decide what kind of data we need. Also, we have another agent. So when we write the article, like initial draft, we have an agent that is an eval and refinement agent. So what it does, like it takes the whole article that is written, like the draft one, then it evaluates, like to pinpoints, like what is good, what is bad, what we need to fix. Then it retrieves additional data that it needs because it sees that the whole article already, and so it says like, okay, I need this and that. It figures out what do we need, what looks redundant because we have the whole article, and then it rewrites the whole structure again to make it better. So at the same point, like for specific places, we use GPTs. So we have very task-specific GPTs that are taught and instructed and have specific knowledge to perform specific tasks. So if you combine this in the whole process, then you can actually work with that, but that's like a different level. So you can use it as a hybrid approach. Thanks a lot for listening to my webinar. Hopefully you found some useful tips, and at the moment you understand better what are the differences between GPTs, AI workflows, and AI agents. If you want to ever talk to me, you can either send me an email or you can find me on LinkedIn. I basically live on LinkedIn. I love to talk to people. I help companies not only with AI writing, but I also consult them in SEO, and I help them to implement AI in their businesses. So if you ever want to talk to me, feel free to contact me. Cheers.
Tom, thank you for an amazing presentation and for sharing your experience. Follow Tom on LinkedIn for useful and practical content.